Hello everyone and welcome back to Arctic Retro. In today's video I'm gonna show you a little bit different computer than the usual 8 and 16 bits machine that I normally have in this channel. I recently got this one and this is a special machine. It's a Mini-ITX motherboard computer with CPU and memory and everything. I got this from a friend and yeah, I don't know anything about this other than it's a small form factor PC, and it is in fact a VIA EPIA CL motherboard with RAM, a CPU and some other chipset. I'm gonna explore a little bit more later, and one PCI slot here. It has the regular PC ports, PS2 mouse and keyboard, serial ports, and it in fact has a USB ports, and it has two network interfaces and audio contacts here. And on the board itself there's a lot of other ports. It's a floppy drive connector, two IDE connectors, and yeah, several other pin headers here for different purposes. So I haven't actually powered this on, and yeah, it will be interesting to see if it works.
This video is sponsored by PCBWay. If you are a creator and need some PCBs, then you should consider PCBWay.
If you visit PCBWay.com, you can get an instant quote on very good quality PCBs for affordable prices. Besides good quality PCBs, PCBWay also offers CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, 3D printing, injection molding, among other services. So head over to PCBWay and check out their services. So I looked it up online, and this computer is actually meant for embedded systems like industrial equipment and things like that, but otherwise it is just a regular Mini-ITX form factor PC, and it has a separate power supply here. It takes 12 volts input, and then it just had the regular ITX or ATX standard power contact. So yeah, I'm gonna power it up now and take a look at it. The CPU is VIA C3, I think. I have to take off the fan and take a look at the actual CPU, but this one came after the Cyrix 3 CPU that was made by VIA. And if it is VIA C3, then it was launched in 2001, so it's yeah, past 20 years now. So this is kind of retro. So the limit for me when it comes to retro computers is the year 2000. So I guess this will pass from 2001. It has one SIM memory slot here, and yeah, it's a 256 megabyte only. But this board was capable of having 1 gigabyte of RAM. Alright, let's hook this up, and I don't know what I'm actually gonna do with this, if it works. Maybe I will make a little mini computer, mini retro computer with this, running DOS and Windows 95, and yeah, we'll take it from there. I'll see. First I need to check if it works or not. Just gonna connect the power supply and then find some 12 volts for this. Of course I also need to hook up some VGA cable here and connect to my TV, and this TV actually has a VGA input, so that is nice. I don't have to take out my old VGA monitor then. For power I'm just gonna use my bench power supply and set the voltage to 12 volts. And I just limit the current to, let's say, 3 amps. Not really sure how much this board draws, but I'll start with that. Alright, turning on the TV, let's see if we get something. I haven't turned on the power yet. So, turning on, let's see now. Well, one thing I was thinking about now is that this probably need a power switch. So I need to figure out what kind of pins I have to connect a button to. So let me just measure to see if we have anything from the power supply. No, nothing on this one at least. I'm gonna check here on some of these pin headers, see if we have any voltages on the board. Okay, yeah, there's 5 volts there, 4.8, so at least some of the voltages are okay. Alright, so I had to Google a little bit about the ITX power supply contact and all the pinouts, and it should provide plus 12 volts, minus 12 volts, and plus 5 volts on several of the wires. And yeah, but it is in standby mode, so I only found one of these had 5 volts. And according to the spec, if you short pin 14 to ground, and that is the green wire, you should start the power supply. So let's see now, let me do that. Short it to ground, ground is black. Yeah, look at that, the fan span. The fan span up. Okay, let me try once more. Yeah, all right, it started. Just gonna try and place that wire there. Do we get anything on the screen? Nope, no signal. So let's see now if I short pin 14 to ground again, and I should now have voltage on the connector for the hard drive. That's 5 volts there, and the other one should be 12. Yeah, look at that, 12 volts. Okay, so the power supply is working then. Alright, so I found the manual for this motherboard, and according to this, the case connector called F panel, it has a power button, plus and minus, and it says here, connect the 2-pin push button switch. Pressing the button will turn the system power on or off. So I guess I just need to short pin 6 and 8 to turn it on then. And that is the connector here. So this is pin 1. So this is pin 1, this is pin 2. So it's on this road, 4, 6, 8. So if I short pin with this jumper. Alright, it started. Nice. Okay, it beeps. Alright, look at that. The machine works. Tries to boot, but no disk. Disk boot failure. Insert system disk and press enter. Taking a look at the power supply, I can see that it draws 2.5 amps. So then I was almost correct with 3 amps. So I think I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Let's say 5 amps max. When I connect a hard drive or a floppy disk drive, it will draw more, obviously. Cool, the machine works. So next step now is to connect a floppy disk drive and the keyboard, obviously. Alright, before I do anything else, I wanna have this on a frame so it can be a little bit raised over the bench here, and I printed this one. It's an ITX Mini fit frame. You can mount under it. Obviously I want to make a real case for this eventually, but for now this will do. Just need to find some screws. Found a couple of screws that should fit. So that's sorted, and this frame actually has a placeholder here for a hard drive, 2.5 inch. The next thing I want to sort out is this power button, and I found one here. This is just a simple push button, but I'm gonna solder a wire to that and yeah, some contacts to fit on this connector. Here's some wires, don't need very much, just a few inches. Then I'm gonna crimp on some of these DuPont connectors. They would fit, yeah, they fit. Now using this crimp tool is a little bit fiddly. Yeah, that looks good. Now it's just a matter of pushing it into the contact. That's fixed. Then just a little solder job here. Alright, one power button ready. Okay, let's check if it works. Yes, it does. Fan spins and off. Yeah, nice. Right, I wanna hook up a floppy disk drive to this one and see if we can boot into DOS. But before that, I'm interested to see what kind of CPU is in this one. So I'm gonna remove this heatsink and the fan. Take a look. There's this push down sort of thingy here. So yeah, there's these standoffs here, or what they are called, clips. Push down, and then I can just use a plier and squeeze. Okay, that's true. And yeah, the other one. Okay, well, I kind of know it's the VIA C3, but I just want to see the CPU and the text. And of course it's full of this heat thermal compound. I'm gonna clean that off. And that reveals the label. Clean off the heatsink as well. So let us take a look on this. I'm gonna zoom in. There we have it. It's a VIA C3 at 1.0 gigahertz, 1.4 volts, if that is correct. So back in the day when the Amiga and Commodore era was over, I switched over to PC, and I did, like many others, build a couple of PCs from parts, and yeah, doing upgrades and all those kinds of things, but that was mainly just plug and play and simple stuff. So I haven't really done anything repair wise or anything like that on the PC platform. So it's kind of interesting. So tell me in the comments, did you work on building PCs back in the day and doing some technical stuff with the PCs? I'll be interested to hear that in the comments. Alright, so I'm gonna put back the heatsink, but I need a little bit of new thermal compound. Just squirt a little bit on top here, I guess. That should be enough. Okay, that's in place. So I can see a little bit of dirt all over the board, and yeah, the fan is kind of dirty, so I'm gonna try and clean up as much as possible before I continue. Yeah, kind of dirty. I took the whole thing out and blew away the dust. The fins on the heatsink was full of dust, so yeah, now it should be good. A little bit of electronic cleaner also in the contacts. There's a battery here to hold the BIOS memory, and yeah, let's check, see if it still has voltage. Yeah, in fact it has 2.8 volts. However, 2.8 volts is a little bit low. I have a new one here. It's 3.3. So let's replace it with a brand new one, CR2032. The backside of the motherboard looks alright, but there's a little bit of dirt over here. Better to mop it up. One thing I noticed with the power supply is that in fact two of these caps are bulging up. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this one and this one is definitely raised on the top. So yeah, while the power supply is working, I feel like I'm gonna replace those caps, but those are very small 1000 microfarad caps, and I don't have that size. I have bigger ones, but those won't fit, so I have to leave those for now. But on the motherboard all the caps look alright, so yeah, hopefully this is good. Now this large heatsink here, I guess it's on the GPU. This has a rather powerful GPU for this kind of computer. This is a VIA Unichrome 2D 3D graphics, and it also has an MPEG-2 accelerator, so yeah, guess it can run some of the games from back in the day. Alright, I'm starting to get ready to hook this up to a keyboard and a floppy disk drive and see what it can do, but before that I needed to find a suitable power supply instead of using my bench power supply. I found this. It's from an old TV. It is 12 volts at max 4 amps, so it should be good enough. It has this connector. I'm gonna cut it off. This is a 4-pin connector, but I measured it has 12 volts on 2 pins and ground on the other 2, so yeah. So I'm gonna connect this to this. Maybe these wires are a little thin, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. If they are too thin, then they will get hot, and I will notice that. But yeah, this is the wire from the power supply. It's a little bit beefier. No, I actually changed my mind. This fiddly little wire will be too thin to support up to maybe 40 watts. So I'm gonna use this screw terminal. I couldn't find the correct kind of Molex connector. I don't have that type, so just need to find something temporary. I don't want to start a fire. Yeah, that's solid. I just checked that this side is the plus. Just gonna mark plus. Turns out that I had the polarity the wrong way after all. In order for it to fit, I need to reverse. So now the plus is on the other side. "12 volt supply is connected. Let's test." Yeah, it starts up. Alright, I found a PS2 keyboard and an old floppy disk drive, and I'm gonna hook that up. Floppy goes into there, and the floppy drive needs some power, which we have here. It quickly becomes a little bit cluttered here with all those wires and everything. Okay, and then the VGA again. Oh no, it doesn't fit. It's that angle type. I need to reverse it then. So no, perhaps, yeah. I have a floppy inside. It says memory test 86 plus. Don't know what that is. Okay, turning on. Let's see now. It says CPU has been changed. Please re-enter CPU settings in the CMOS. Press F1 to continue. Okay, the floppy drive is starting to get noisy. Very noisy. Okay, I don't think that's good. I don't think this floppy even spins at all. I can't turn it. So something is not right. Try to boot without the disk inside. So okay, we go into CMOS setup here and see if we can set things up, like the date 2022 and the time now is 2029. Because I removed the CMOS battery, then all the settings are obviously reset. So here you see the memory. It has a base memory of 640K and yeah, 228K extended. Yeah, it should be 256. Not really sure why it doesn't say that. So I really need to look at the manual for this motherboard to know what to actually use of all these parameters. It has a CPU temperature of 27 degrees. And there we see the voltages. They all look alright. Okay, let's exit and save. Disk boot failure. Alright, let me insert a floppy disk that can boot. So I went through my old floppy disk collection and I found the MS-DOS 622. Yeah, that looks better, starting MS-DOS. Obviously I don't have a hard drive in this machine now, but at least it starts. So it can't install MS-DOS on my computer because I don't have a hard disk. To install MS-DOS on a floppy disk, press enter. So now we can take a look at the directory on A. Yeah, there it is. Alright, for this to be any fun, I obviously need a hard drive, and this uses regular IDE hard disks, which I actually don't have. I thought I had one, but I couldn't find it. So I have all sorts of other types of hard drives. I really want to use a 2.5 inch like this. However, this has a SATA interface and can't use this one. Or also maybe use a CF to IDE adapter like this. However, this uses the smaller IDE connector, so it won't fit. I don't have an adapter for that. This is for an Amiga, by the way. I have ordered two things. I have ordered a 2.5 inch IDE hard drive, and I also ordered a SATA to IDE or IDE to SATA adapter that makes it possible to use this one. This is a 1 terabyte disk. So the machine is working. It's been on now for quite a while. The power supply is not very warm. So next steps are to make a real computer out of this mess, and for that you will have to wait for the next episode. Alright, that was it for this video. I'm gonna do a lot more with this. It was quite fun to do a little PC related stuff eventually, and hopefully this will turn out to be a usable test machine for old PC or Windows stuff. We'll see about that. That will come in the next episode. Not really sure when that episode will be, but I have to get some more parts and stuff first to be able to complete this. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as usual, a special thanks to my Patreons. If you want to support me on Patreon, then just go over to patreon.com and you'll find a link to my page on Patreon in the description. Thanks, bye bye, see you.